there. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm Colleen Klimczak. I'm an organizational and productivity coach and a certified professional organizer. I own Peace of Mind Professional Organizing, LLC. Since 2003, I've been helping my clients live better lives through organizing and organizational and productivity coaching. I support my clients and my community with coaching, in-person and virtual organizing, my weekly podcast called Your Organized Life with Colleen Klimczak, a free weekly virtual productivity session called Finish Line Friday, a free weekly email newsletter, and regular content on Facebook and Instagram. I also offer presentations and professional development to groups and companies. Coming soon, I'll be launching my membership circle to support my community with even more coaching and productivity content. Want to finish strong this week? Join me for Finish Line Friday every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Central for a 2-hour productivity session. Drop me an email at colleen@peaceofmindpo.com to request my Zoom room link or follow the Zoom room link on my Instagram or Facebook pages. Welcome to Your Organized Life, episode 143. I'm going to talk about coaching again today because I said I was going to do that this summer, and here we are. This may sound surprising, but I do not have all the answers to your productivity questions. I know. It's a big statement. It is true. I am a specialist in productivity and time management. I have worked with hundreds of people in the last 22 years. I've taught hundreds of classes to thousands of people, facilitated scores of workshops in productivity and time management. I have a degree in business management, right? I have shared dozens of topics with you about productivity. However, I don't have all the answers to your productivity questions. And here is why. Because your questions are your questions, and the answers are inside you, not inside me. I recently mentioned the Coachability Self-Test. In that episode and article, I mentioned that one of the statements we ask you to rate is, I know my own answers are within me. I believe that through guidance, feedback, and my own sense of right action, I can discover those answers. So when we're asking those questions, we're asking if you believe that you can access the answers to your own questions. Let me talk about what that actually means. I don't know the answers to your questions, and I'm not supposed to. What I do know is the coaching process helps you find them out for yourself. And that is what we are working towards. In coaching, we believe that you have the answers, but maybe you haven't discovered them yet. I know a lot about productivity, which means I can help you ask the right questions. And that's the power of coaching. I said something similar to a prospective client recently because they asked me if I had ever worked with somebody in their specific industry. And I said no, but that I don't have to, because here's another truth in coaching. I don't have to know one thing about your industry to help you be more productive at your job. Lots of truth bombs today, folks. I hope that isn't deflating any good impression you had of me before listening to this, but I don't have to know your industry, and I don't have to have all the answers. But whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, an insurance broker, a financial planner, a realtor, interior designer, business owner, librarian, academic, teacher, professor, writer, professional coach, artist, or musician, and yes, I have worked with all of these industries and more, or any other industry, I don't need to know your job to help you be more productive in your job. These are some of the books I can never write, to not share specifics and break confidentiality. I know amazing people with really cool jobs, and I don't need to know how to do their job to help them do their job better. And that's because of coaching. Asking a coaching client about what is important to them today has nothing to do with their industry. Their answers are specific to them as people. The actions to take to be more productive likely have something to do with their industry, but that question has nothing to do with any particular job. Asking them what important means, how would they define importance? Working with them on setting goals, determining metrics, establishing routines that work for them, personally and professionally. All of these things are person-specific, industry-independent. I do not sew or quilt, but I have clients who sew and quilt. I have a client that creates patterns for others to sew and quilt. Is that cool? That's cool. It's so creative. But I don't need to know how to sew to help those clients be more productive. Thank goodness. I can ask what it is they'd like to accomplish. Why is this important now? What has held them back before? Or even what tools are available to help them succeed? And I don't need to know the answers to any of these questions because the answers are within my clients. They just haven't accessed the information or maybe applied what they already know to this current situation. In coaching, I'll ask questions because that's how we come up with the answers. I hold space for my client, which means I provide the opportunity for them to think the big thoughts and dream the big dreams with someone to listen and provide feedback. I keep their big agenda in mind, their goals, as we talk about today's topic. And together we connect what we're doing today to their big agenda. For example, let's say you want to start a business. And the thing that came to my mind was underwater basket weaving. I don't know why. That was always the fictitious college major we joke about. But let's say underwater basket weaving. I might say, wow, that sounds really interesting. I'd love to hear more about that. But for today, because we're coaching, I'm curious about what lights you up about that industry. Or how do you imagine your company will look? Tell me more. I might say in coaching, we talk about essential structures. So what are things that you know about yourself that will help you with this endeavor? Those are just some of the ideas, some of the ways that conversation might start. Another benefit to me not having to know a client's industry is that I don't have any limitations then. If I'm not in my client's industry, my questions aren't limited by their industry or expectations. My client is the expert in their industry and about themselves. I'm just there to guide them as the coach. I'm the expert in coaching and productivity, but my clients are the experts about themselves. That's why we talk about awareness, that everything starts with awareness. My clients are experts about themselves. They are the ones that have looked at their life and their situation and have realized that where they are and where they want to be might be two different things. My clients will identify the steps to take and then do the work, all with support from me. I am here. We've got this. But it needs to be them to identify the steps and do the work. I don't need to know my client's industry because it's not me doing the work. I can help my clients determine all that for themselves. Importantly to the process and for their sustained success is for them to determine goals, motivation, steps, accountability towards action, to figure all that out with guidance. The good news is I do know a lot of things. I know coaching. I know productivity strategies that work. I have experience and coursework in working with clients with ADHD and other neurodiversities. And if you want to use coaching in collaboration with organizing, I am your girl. In coaching, we recognize that our clients are naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. We start there. We believe our clients have the answers, that they're capable of finding the answers, and that we just need to ask the questions and guide the process. And let's face it, that's a much more sustainable arrangement as my clients grow in self-knowledge and competence. Here's the final part of the puzzle today, and maybe it's the most important part. It's okay if I don't know your industry, but what I do know is that no matter what you're trying to achieve or where you want to go or be in life, being organized and productive will get you that much closer. It will help you get there. That's the answer. That's why we talk about this all the time. You are awesome. I know you are. Even if you're not as organized or as productive as you'd like to be, you aren't broken. No one's broken. No one needs fixed. But coaching can be the vehicle to help you be more productive, more organized, more of whatever it is you want to be. You are the expert of you. Let's figure out together how to do what you want to do and do it well. That's one definition of productivity after all, and also of success. Industry independent with no specifics. So to sum up, because your questions are your questions, the answers are inside you and not me. In coaching, we believe you have the answers. You just haven't discovered them yet. I don't need to know one thing about your industry to help you be more productive in your industry. And finally, no matter your industry and regardless of what you're trying to achieve or where you want to go or be, being organized and productive will get you that much closer. And coaching is the vehicle. Support around getting things done, whatever they may be, is what productivity coaching is all about. If it's time to invest in yourself and explore coaching for organizing and productivity, I would love to hear from you. Drop me a line via email at colleen@peaceofmindpo.com or message me through my social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Thanks so much, and I will talk to you next week.